You're watching 13 News, Kansas News Leader.
Good evening and welcome into the Monday 13 News at 10 tonight. We got late word this evening. 2 people have been killed in a plane crash near Topeka's Philip Billard Airport. According to FAA records, the plane that crashed is a 1965 Piper twin engine like this one that you see in this photograph. It is registered to an airplane owner from Mission, Kansas. We're not saying the owner's name as authorities still investigate who was on that plane and they're beginning to notify the next of kin. It has been about 2 hours now since that plane went down. Daniela Leon is live at Billard Airport and she's got the latest information.
Yeah, Ralph, we have confirmed that a twin-engine plane crashed out here at Billard Airport. I'm going to step aside and you will see investigators are currently at the scene trying to determine exactly what led to that deadly crash. The National Weather Service was the agency that reported the planes down. 911 dispatcher confirmed 2 people are dead along with KHP following this incident. Now, FAA records show it's a 1965 Piper PA-30 twin-engine registered to an individual out in Mission, Kansas. Now, we are not saying the name as authorities investigate who was on the plane and notify next of kin. Now, KHP is currently investigating the scene along with Topeka Police, Topeka Fire, MTAA, and FAA. We will keep you posted as more information develops at WIBW.com and throughout our broadcast.
Obviously, our first step is preservation of life, preservation of the scene. Beyond that, it's contacting the FAA and making sure the notifications are made. The tower was closed, so when the tower closes, it's a uncontrolled airport, which means it's just see and avoid, announce your intentions, land and take off. Simply that.
Yeah, again, a twin-engine plane has crashed out here at Billard Airport. Behind me, you can see investigators are currently at the scene trying to determine exactly what led to that incident. The National Weather Service was the agency that reported the planes down. 911 dispatchers confirmed 2 people are dead following this incident. FAA records show it's a 1965 Piper PA-30 twin-engine registered to an individual out in Mission, Kansas. Now, we are not saying the name as authorities investigate who was on the plane and notify next of kin. Again, KHP is currently investigating the area along with Topeka Police, Topeka Fire, MTAA, and the FAA. This is a developing story, and we will keep you posted on WIBW.com and along with our broadcast. Ralph, back to you.
All right, so that is what we know so far. Daniela, thank you for the update there.
A plane crash at Billard Airport claims 2 lives. We'll have the latest on the investigation and what we know about the victims. Plus, a gas leak near Gage Park forces some people out of their homes. What happened? And we have the primary for Topeka mayor. We'll check the turnout at the polls. Good evening, I'm Melissa Bruner.
And I'm Ralph Hipp. Welcome in here at 6. Federal investigators are in Topeka this evening, continuing trying to figure out what caused the crash, killing a well-known Topeka doctor and his flight instructor.
The plane went down around 8:30 last night in a field at Billard Airport. If you're not familiar with the area, Billard is situated just west of the K4 Oakland Expressway, south of Highway 24. It was the north end of the airport where the plane went down.
Now, the Kansas Highway Patrol's first report is showing the twin-engine plane was traveling southeast to northeast, appearing to miss the runway and then hit the ground at a very high rate of speed. KHP reports the impact had flipped the plane 180 degrees and it stopped in the field between the runway and a taxi road to the airport terminal. When the plane went down at 8:30 last night, only one call went to 911 dispatchers, and that call came in from the National Weather Service office at Billard Airport.
13's Sean Wheat is live back at Billard tonight with what they heard and also an update on the investigation. Sean?
Well, Melissa, Ralph, several people who live southeast of the airport say they're actually used to hearing planes fly into the airport. But the last plane that they heard was a little louder and going faster than usual.
We've had the reports of the sounds, the motor not sounding right, plane coming in too fast, and that's all, we have to investigate it. This is still a pretty fresh incident.
The Kansas Highway Patrol is leading the investigation into what happened Monday night when a 1965 Piper PA-30 twin-engine aircraft crashed at Billard Airport. The Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board is also looking into the crash that killed 61-year-old William Leeds, a Topeka doctor, and 55-year-old James Bergman, a flight instructor from Leawood. Staff at the National Weather Service office discovered the crash.
We heard a noise, a thump, almost like you could feel the ground shake a little bit, and And out of curiosity, we came out to look around, and after looking across the area here, we saw the plane that was down. And
they immediately called 911 and went to see if they could help those who were inside but could not.
Any other accident scene that you come, if you're one of the first people, you want to do everything you can to help. And in this case, we did everything that we felt we could do, call 911, and your hearts just go out to the families, and it is a sick feeling.
KHP says Dr. Leeds was flying the plane with Bergman, who was his co-pilot and flight instructor.
He was an experienced pilot and was working on just kind of upping his game with the aircraft and, extending his training.
Leeds was certified to fly a single-engine plane, while Bergman was a flight instructor and is listed to have several pilot licenses. Well, investigators with the NTSB and FAA arrived here at Billard Airfield early this morning, to help to try to determine exactly what had caused the plane to come down. They have not found a flight plan, which actually is not unusual when it comes to instruction flights or for a training flight. Also, the Billard Tower closes at 7 o'clock in the evening, which means there was no communication between the plane and the tower at that time. One thing we do want to give you information, we actually have started to see airplanes take off and land here at Billard Airport. That means the airport is now back open, and the plane itself has been moved. We're waiting to hear from officials exactly where it's been moved.
All right, Sean Wheat with the update live at Billard tonight. Family, friends, patients, and colleagues are all remembering Dr. William Leeds today as someone who made everyone feel like family and whose care for his patients knew no limits.
He was an amazing man with a tremendous heart.
Dr. William Leeds founded Topeka Pulmonary in 1998. Today, called Pulmonary and Sleep Associates, he treated people with breathing and sleeping disorders. His operations manager, Hope Biggs, says for Dr. Leeds, it was more than a job.
He was so passionate about making people feel better, making their lives better. I can't tell you how many patients that he has absolutely, completely changed their life.
In addition to the Topeka office, Leeds held outreach clinics once a month in Hiawatha, Onega, Burlington, Parsons, and Garden City. Their latest trip there captured in this Facebook post. Biggs said he'd fly the staff to get to the patients.
He was very passionate about patients in rural communities having access to specialists.
And he was passionate about sharing his knowledge, whether in news interviews,
that would be like a balloon,
or more recently, an online video series with Your Sleep Doc.
To see if we can enlighten everybody about sleep.
All of it done, Biggs said, with a genuine heart.
Each and every one of us feels like we are his family, and he made you feel that way.
Looking back in our archives today, Biggs said they are working with physicians to make arrangements for patients. They hope to know some more details to pass along within the next few days. Now, the airplane was owned by James Guglielmino. He's a veterinarian in Mission, Kansas. He declined to speak on camera today, but these photos are photos of the plane that he shared with KCTV. He told them that he has known both Dr. Bill Leeds and James Kevin Bergman for several years. He estimated Bergman had about 100 hours in the plane, while Leeds had 50 to 60 hours and was actually set to take his twin-engine rating test tomorrow. Guglielmino says he kept the plane in Topeka because it was nice and hangar space was inexpensive. He believes they were flying out of Topeka last night. He added that he had just seen Dr. Leeds Sunday in Lawrence. Again, federal investigators are in Topeka. They have removed the plane from the crash site. We will be following the investigation and bring you any updated information as it's available. Ralph?